Welcome to Monday Morning Coffee with Inside the Firm. Each week, our hosts will be interviewing local, regional, and national business leaders to give you an inside peek into how they lead their business to success in the ever-competitive business climate.
Welcome to Monday Morning Coffee with Inside the Firm. We have a very special guest hailing all the way from beautiful, sunny Florida. Daniel Dan became fascinated with marketing and sales almost 2 decades ago. Today, he is the co-creator of the X Factor Effect methodology, where he and his team have helped over 20,000 students and clients grow their businesses. Daniel teaches that different is the new better, and his framework includes 9 pillars for differentiating your business so that you can become a market leader. For several years, Daniel also traveled the world full-time with his wife and 4 children. They continue to travel often and now live in Florida. Daniel is also the author of the new book, Ideas That Influence, that was built to help business owners discover their own wildly successful marketing ideas. Daniel, welcome to the show.
Hey, Lance, Cayko, with over 500 episodes now on Inside the Firm. That is incredible. Congratulations. I'm so excited to be here.
Thanks. And I hate to do it, but it's psycho. I hate to say that. Yeah, no, there's only 2 people in the whole world that have ever gotten it right. So it was a good attempt, though. Before we get into...
your last name? I didn't get it right?
No. So before we get into what you do now, tell us how you got here. Are you from a family of entrepreneurs? Are you the first?
So I am... Well, I guess you could say that us kids, we grew up a little bit poor. I mean, we were in a trailer home growing up. My dad got a better job, and then we moved to what I would call a real home at some point. We are entrepreneurial. I would say I am the most entrepreneurial, but we all have the bug inside of us, and I am the oldest. So I kind of led the way and went from there. So yeah.
Nice.
Love making money for myself because I was not handed money as a kid. So
yeah. Tell us how you became interested in marketing and sales almost 2 decades ago. You know, where did that start?
Yeah. The big thing was I was, trying to find my way and just, was never handed much. And in college, I should have, I took all of one business class in college, and it ended up being my favorite one. But at the time in college, I was like, oh, what am I going to do? How am I going to make money? I started messing around with eBay, was one of the first people to start selling on eBay before everybody else kind of learned how to do it. And it kind of became a lot harder. But we made good money on eBay for a while. I had a party business. I used to be in Utah, at least. I was self-proclaimed the fastest balloon in the West because I was a balloon artist and I was fast, really fast. Uh-huh. People absolutely loved me. I did parties all the time. That party business, it paid the bills for a few years. Eventually, I hit a ceiling in that business because I was the business, and just people, they wanted me. And as you know, Lance, with your team of, I think 12 now, right, in your firm, you cannot be the business. You got to build a business around you.
Yeah, so. Exactly. One of the best pieces of business advice I ever got was from Robert Wygant, one of my early mentors. And I agree with you, Dan. He said, if you ever want to actually grow, then you need to figure out how to replace yourself. That's kind of the methodology, that we've done since then. What inspired you then? So you started these side businesses, you realized you started to hit ceilings and everything. Is that what inspired you to create the X Factor effect, the methodology? Is that where it all started?
So I learned scalability as an online super affiliate, which means I was really good at buying website traffic and sending it to other people's websites. And I got paid handsomely to send massive amounts of traffic. And in 2009, so here's where we get into the differentiation story. In 2009, I started planning my retirement. I was like, yeah, I've made it, because in 2009, I think I was 27 years old. So I created my first website that on some days it made as much as $1,000 profit. So in 2009, I mean, $1,000 in a day, that's like $5,000 today for 2024. So massive, like I was like on cloud nine, I was ready to take over the world. And then people started copying my website. About 6 months in, people started completely swiping off the website, like complete duplicates of the website. And when all was said and done, I think I had a little over 100 copycat competitors where they had either completely ripped off the copy on my website and part of the image, or in some cases, they completely ripped off all of it. And then, some people were a little bit more ethical and they would change some words around and make the copy their own. But bottom line was, I was copied, like so many of us. And for you, everybody in the architecture space, you understand that. Commoditization is a real thing. And when it comes to running our businesses, if we look the same, if we get caught up in the sea of sameness, and if we get easily copied, it really starts to affect our bottom line. So I started working with my business partner down in Brazil, Pedro Superti, about 12 years ago. And we started going on this journey of helping people to become uncopyable in their niche markets, including many architecture firms and even some engineers and, a lot more doctors and dentists and, home service-based businesses. But we helped a lot of those businesses discover how to become uncopyable. And it was through our X Factor Effect methodology. And when we started to grow big in Brazil, we said, okay, let's take this methodology as well worldwide. And now we're starting to help people in the English speaking market also differentiate themselves with our X Factor Effect methodology.
Yeah, that must be. So
go ahead.
that's okay. All right. I'm the host. So that probably leads into the different is the new better then, right? I mean, is that sort of the next leap here? Is that, okay, you're helping people to become different, therefore it's the new better, and therefore they can't be replicable?
Yeah, so our way of doing it, we have 9 different pillars with our X Factor Effect methodology. And we help people stack the differences that make a difference in their niche. And so out of those 9 pillars, so if you own a firm and or you're in real estate or whatever it is, construction, whatever it is, you don't have to follow all 9 of those. You just need to follow enough of those pillars and stack your differences so that you become what we call a unicorn to your dream customers, where it's very obvious that you are different and you are different in a way that your dream customers love. And so we help people stack those differences, because my problem when I had that website where I was making as much as $1,000 per day was that my differentiator was that I had unique sales copy that sold really, really well. The sales copy was my USP. And as such, a great headline, a great guarantee, great website copy, that is easily swipeable. And so because it was so easily swipeable, we were like, all right, so we need to help people stack these differences. And we've got lots of different ways to help people do just that with the 9 pillars.
How did you identify the 9 pillars? It probably didn't come straight out of like a magician's hat or something like that, like with a rabbit and all that. Is this coming from your experience from your earlier entrepreneurial endeavors? Unpack that for us.
Yeah, lots of both Pedro and I, we were and are just massive students of marketing, the psychology of sales, and business. And so we were following a lot of the same people. We were reading a lot of the same books. Over the past 12 years, I'd say I've read upwards of 400 different books that have to do with business, marketing, the psychology of sales, etc. But in the beginning, since we were such fans of the psychological aspects of things and such fans of the strategic aspects of growing a business, we had picked up a lot of tidbits here and there about differentiation. And, we had both read books like Differentiator or Die and things like that. And so we were big. We were also like big Dan Kennedy fans, and he talks about being a maverick and how differentiation is so important. And so we started to pick up all these little tips. And at first, when we first started teaching people, it wasn't 9 pillars. It was 7 different steps. And out of those 7 core steps, lots of people started to get results just off of the 7 steps. And then it opened up this whole world to us because we started to get this feedback loop with our students and clients, and we started to see what they were doing, and then we started to study more and dive deeper and deeper and deeper, and then we realized, hey, this is much more than 7 steps. The opportunities for differentiating your business in a way that your dream customers love are pretty much limitless. So we saw the need to recategorize how we presented the X factor effect, and then we were like, well, if you can follow 3 or 4 of the pillars, then that can be like your path to becoming uncopyable.
I love that. I love that. As a contrarian and somebody who started one of my businesses in that way of like, what is the opposite I can offer to the public that our other current architects aren't doing right now? So I'm just totally enthralled with all of this. What are the 9 pillars? And without giving up too much, too much, I was just curious if we could give it like a terse sort of overview of what the 9 pillars are.
Usually I share a few, because if we talk about each one of the 9 pillars here, then we would be going for at least 2 hours. So, so there, one of the things that, so you're following this. So I like to give examples of what Lance is following and what Al is following. One of the things you guys are doing is, so we say lead your tribe. Okay. You are starting to build a tribe. And you're doing that how? Well, you've got your course and courses that help people with the different design tools. You also have this podcast, and you also have, I don't know how the culture is inside of your business, but it feels like you got a pretty good culture going on inside of your business as well. So you're starting to lead the tribe. The best brands in the world, they start to build a tribe around what they're doing. It's a very strategic thing. It takes planning. It takes smarts. It takes a guy like Lance and a guy like Al to build a tribe. But once you have that, it is a massive differentiator. It takes you from being, the Blackberries of the world to the Apples of the world. And then it turns you into the Harley Davidsons of the world. And so we say lead your tribe. That's one of the big things.
Yeah.
On top of that, I can share more, but what are your thoughts based off of that, Lance?
Oh, well, I love that. I love that. Yeah. I mean, again, I'm the host, so I'm just going to refrain from giving my thoughts on that. I'm just trying to pull stuff out of you, bud. Tell us about the world travel and how that has influenced your approach to business and marketing. I have to imagine there's some stuff that influenced it.
Yeah, so traveling the world, taking my family to different places, and we did a lot of our traveling also towards the beginning of the pandemic as well, which gave us some really unique insights. We just finished traveling about 2 years ago, and what it allowed us to do, going back to the pillars, one of the pillars is we say join the age of experience. In the age of experience, people are sick of just buying stuff. I know you're a stoic, Lance, right? Because I listened to multiple episodes.
Nice.
And when it comes to stoicism, so we started to become a little bit more minimalistic, because we realized that stuff does kind of hold you back a lot of the times. But people crave and love an amazing experience. And so what we were able to see is different paradigms and how different cultures and how different groups of people act, even just within the United States during like the pandemic. Like literally we would be in one state, and in one state, nobody's wearing masks. Everybody's breaking the rules. Then we go 2 states over and everybody's wearing a mask. Like within a week, And we're like, what is going on? And so we had so many different world viewpoints, and we got so many cool different experiences, experiencing different cultures, and it gave us a big understanding. But when it comes to the X factor effect, and this is how we can help everybody listening to inside the firm. So people absolutely love a great experience. Now, your firm, one of the biggest things you have to master for a great customer experience is communication. And then also communicating the desires of your dream customers and understanding what's really going to move the needle for your dream customers. For example, if I have different ways to within how I'm designing things to save my customers money, and that's what they care about, well, we are going to communicate that, and we are going to find partners and communicate with those partners as well so that we can help them save the most money. And then we become the logical choice. Now, when it comes to making money, maybe they're more concerned about making money. Maybe they're more concerned about sustainability. Maybe you're working with the city, right? So you're working with the community, and they care about, how this design is going to impact the entire downtown landscape. And so the more you communicate and the more you create an experience around what your dream customers want inside of your firm, the more of an X factor you're going to have, and the more of an obvious choice you become when compared to the commoditized version of an architecture firm, which is, hey, we are going to design up some, pretty good looking designs. Well, guess what? That's the basic. That's what you're meant to do. You're supposed to deliver us great design. So outside of that, what else do you bring to the table?
You're just nailing it. You're nailing it so much. I hope the architects and everybody who's a designer listening to this episode is this is what you're reinforcing, what Alex and I have been preaching forever, which is like the design is going to happen. Duh. It's picking up the phone, it's replying to the email, it's providing a high level of customer service. That's really the X factor that a lot of architects are missing. And frankly, I would like it if more. I'm okay with people copying that part of it. Like that is the influence I want to have on the community there. So I think a couple other things that you reinforced too is like traveling, like you said, it gives you empathy. I think that's probably the word you were looking for. It's like relatable.
Right.
You're able to have more empathy with people. And that's not sympathy. That's now I can relate to those people. So now I maybe understand what they need and how I can perform and give those things to people that I need in all different various places. So I'm not limiting the pool of customers I have, whether it's service or product-based business. You also mentioned that, so you've read almost 400 books or more. What are 3 of those that you'd recommend to our audience besides obviously yours?
Yeah, so one of the first ones where like I started getting addicted was The Psychology of Sales by Brian Tracy. That was the one where I was like, I went from being like a fan of business books to like, oh my gosh, like I finally found the thing that I really like get excited about and can lose sleep over, which is psychologically, how can I get customers to take action? And so The Psychology of Sales, oh man, I just absolutely love that book. So that's one of them for sure. When it comes to the age of experience, the experience economy. Oh my gosh. Like if I was going to suggest one book for if you own an architecture firm, like if you haven't read The Experience Economy, there's like 50 different lessons you can take from that as an architecture firm. That you're going to be able to apply inside of your business. And then I'd say on top of that, like I'm just a geek when it comes to old school Dan Kennedy stuff. I know that you're a fan of Alex Hormozi, you and Al are. And so like I'll just listen to Alex all day, and I'll listen to old Dan Kennedy trainings all day. And I just, get excited
Yeah,
about it.
I've written all three of those down. I have like 6 Audible credits I need to take care of. So thank you for that, Danielle. Especially the experience economy. I'm with you. Like I've even been thinking lately, so like everything's getting like Uberfied or DoorDashed, and it works. I like it. Trust me. Sometimes I'll be coming down the hill and I'll be like from a fishing trip, like a Saturday, and then I'll go like, oh, cool. I'll make it so the DoorDash arrives right when I get there. Like I don't have to cook, a little spoiling myself and everything. But I think like I'm a very much a reactionary. And so I'm like, oh, I wonder if one day we're just going to demand that we want experience like sitting down and having a waiter. Like that's probably going to be something that becomes boutique in a way. Again, sort of reactionary to that. Tell us about the book though. What motivated you to write the ideas and influence? What are some key takeaways that you think people will get from it?
Thank you. Thank you so much, Lance. So ideas that influence, that's a third. So we've got 9. So here we go. Third pillar,
Okay.
create ideas that influence. So every single one of these pillars, as you can imagine, are at least an entire training or book or course. So multiple of these pillars, we've done like 2-day events. And so when it comes to ideas that influence, the genesis of that was that we did a 2-day event for some of our students down in Brazil. And it was all about coming up with big, bold, sticky, and wildly successful marketing messages that just break through the noise. And they just ate it up. They were like, this is good. Like, this is exciting. So eventually I'm like, okay, that was like one of the most exciting things we ever did for a 2-day event. I think that's a book. So I took the time while we were full-time traveling. I wrote the book, and here it is, Ideas That Influence. And it was amazing. And my editor was like, this is like, people are going to eat this up. And I was like, Daniel, you wrote this book and you're the X Factor guys. Are you going to launch this book like everybody else? So I said, no, of course not. We're the X Factor effect guys. We're going to do things differently. And so in addition to the book, we created an entire box experience, and people in certain parts of the book, they're directed towards the box experience where they get extra presents and tools and tips and tricks inside of different envelopes that they open so that they can practice what the book teaches and come up with their own wildly successful marketing campaigns and marketing messages that really grab the attention of your dream customers. So for architects, I'm gonna be honest, we don't have very many architectural examples inside the book. But let's say I have institutional clients. Okay. Mm-hmm. There's certain messaging that's going to be drastically different than if I'm working with commercial or residential clients, right? Mm-hmm. When it comes to architecture. So I need to fine tune that messaging where I am really capturing the attention of all of the decision makers inside of those institutions. And if I'm not captivating the attention of those decision makers inside of the institutions that I'm working with, then I am not going to win the bid. And when I say win the bid, I'm not talking about a price war, which we all fall into the trap of sometimes succumbing to. We're talking about winning the bid in a relationship type way, so that that institution knows that we are the best for them and the community. So messaging. At the end of the day, Ideas That Influence is all about messaging and finding that perfect messaging that's going to break through the noise and help you get those results.
Well, what an opportunity then that architects have. If there's not good examples, like we're very creative people. So I think that's actually a positive for your course and Ideas That Influence, Daniel. So I just want to prop you up on that one. Like if there's any architects listening and you're thinking about taking a leap here, I would encourage it. I received the box from Daniel. I browsed through it. I haven't went through the course. I'm going to tackle it. It's on my bucket list. Daniel, as someone who's helped over 20,000 students, clients, what do you think are some common challenges you see that business owners face? And then what are some just very simple ways right away your methodology could help address them?
Yeah, and it's surprising how many, and we'll go back to architectural firms because that's who the audience is, right? So it's surprising how many people make this mistake. Let's say I'm gung-ho, I'm in my 20s, I just graduated, and I'm going to open up my own firm. I'm gonna slay because I know everything because I'm in my early 20s, and of course, all people in their early 20s know everything, right? So I'm gonna slay, and I know it's inevitable, and so I'm going to be smart. And what's the smart thing that I think is the smart thing to do? I'm going to look around and I'm going to say, okay, so what are the other successful firms doing? So maybe I'll look at F9 Productions and I'll say, oh, I really like the way F9 Productions, Lance and Al's company, I like the way that they do their logo. And I'm going to look at another, like I'm going to look 5, 10 different architectural firms, and I'm going to cherry pick. Okay, I'm going to say, I really like how they did their logo. I really like how they did their website. I really like how, on their Facebook page, they talk about, how they work with their customers. And I'm going to take all these elements, right? And then I'm going to mix it all up. And I'm going to say, blah, here we go. Here's Daniel Din Productions. And this is my architecture firm. And I'm going to successfully do what? I'm going to successfully be drowned out in what we call the sea of sameness. I am going to look like everybody else. So if we were all apples, if F9 Productions and Daniel Din Productions and XYZ firm, if we were all apples, okay, most of us, unfortunately, we're going to look like green apples. And so imagine there's a big bucket full of green apples. Okay, we're all green apples because we've been caught up in the sea of sameness. But then you get somebody like F9 Productions, who they are the one red apple that stands out in the sea of green apples. Now, they're still an apple. They are still an architecture firm, and they still serve their customers in similar ways. But there is a clear, distinct difference. And there is a clear, distinct desire to do business with F9 Productions. And because of that, you end up eating up more of the market share, not all of the market share, but more of the market share compared to everybody that has been caught up in the sea of sameness. So the big mistake, in conclusion, is that too many of us, when we open up our businesses or our firms, etc., we pick what we like from what everybody else is doing. We mix it all up, and we think because we cherry picked our favorites from everybody else that we look different. But the truth is we look the same. We look exactly the same as everybody else. And unfortunately, a business that looks the same as everybody else has a high probability of going out of business within the first 5 years.
Yeah, I love it. This is just really hitting home. We're running up on the half hour here, Daniel. You've been a great guest. There's 2 questions that I ask every guest at the end here. First one is going back in time, and if you could give yourself one piece of advice before you started your business, what would it be?
That one's easy. It's not the answer that you would expect, but it is a common answer, and that is contracts. We got hit with a lawsuit because of a lack of proper contracts, and this is especially important. I used to, in my early 20s, I'm 41 now, so in my early 20s, when I thought I knew everything, I was like, yeah, contracts, it's just paperwork. You don't need to do contracts. Whoa. Young Padawan Din. Do the contracts. They protect everybody. They're going to protect you. Yeah.
They protect everybody. Exactly. That's, I think, the thing is they protect everybody. 100%. I do expert witness work as an architect. So meaning I get a contractor, and I get hired by attorneys and other people often enough and that's typically the problem. The problem is like they're going, well, we need a third party like you to say how much money is really owed or not, because they didn't do any freaking contracts. Like, just get it in place. So that was actually, I love how it was unexpected for sure, Daniel. I did not expect that answer. Yeah, that was really good. Thank you again so much for being on the show. Where can people follow you, get the book? How do they get going with you?
Yeah. So sometimes people search on Amazon, and guess what? I do things differently. You can't even get my book on Amazon yet. I say yet because people are like, dude, you're crazy. Why haven't you put it on Amazon? Well, it's because I practice what we preach, and we are all about the age of experience. To get this book, it comes with the box experience.
Yeah.
But it's free. What? How? What do you mean it's free? It's free plus shipping. I just ask that you pay shipping and handling. You go to bigideasbox.com and just put in your shipping address, and you pay the small shipping fee, and you get the whole book and box experience sent to you. And in 2024, that is the best way to get to know me and what we do with the X Factor Effect, and to kick off the relationship with a great experience and a way to come up with your own wildly successful marketing ideas that break through the noise. So bigideasbox.com.
Beautiful. Daniel, thank you so much again for your time today. We really appreciate you being on the show, buddy.
Thank you, Lance. You're amazing.